Dan Illman, Mike Beer, nice card at Parx on Tuesday. Will throw up the field for the Grade 3 Parx Dash. 5 furlongs on the turf, $200,000 is the purse. The number one, the Critical Way, Mike, has emerged as one of the better turf sprinters in the country. 2 triple-digit Beyer speed figures this year, never off the board from 6 lifetime starts, and he has tactical speed. He can lead, he can sit, and he's in very good form.
Yep, plenty to like about this horse. He's going to be an absolute handful for this field to have to deal with that, and I think you're going to have to take something less than that 6-5 on the morning line.
And we'll have to throw up the Timeform US pace projector because the Critical Way has shown speed. He sat in his last 2, but he can make the lead. I have a feeling Francatelli's going to make him work, Mike, if not outright take a seat. Francatelli's a pretty fast horse, and the last time these 2 horses ran against each other, Francatelli didn't exactly have the best trip.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I almost feel like when you look at this race, if you're the connections of Francatelli, you've got to be telling your rider to go in here and try to wire this field.
Let's watch the Critical Way's most recent start, a 1-10 victory in the Wolf Hill Stakes on the Haskell undercard. He sat on the outside in here. The Connector, who's also in the field, showed surprising speed. The Critical Way got 3 wide and is able to post a workman-like victory. I don't love the way the Critical Way finishes off his races. He's just better than this horse, however. He wins it after the race. Jose Delgado told me in the winner's circle he was ready for Parx. Here he is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what to say, Dan. His form overall is just very good. It feels like they found a great spot for him here. I don't have any knock on that race last time. It wasn't his best performance. As you said, he didn't really finish it off, but he never looked like he was going to lose that race. And if they were just using it to get here, mission accomplished. He's way the horse to beat.
I got to rock the number 2 is a cool horse. He's won 10 of 23 in his life. He returned off of a lengthy layoff to score on dirt last time out. He is okay on turf, to be sure. 4 wins on turf, 4 wins on fast dirt. The problem is his last race on turf was for a $16,000 tag, and he got beat by Call Will, who's 8-1 on the line here. A nice horse who might be in too tough.
Yeah, it feels like too tough a spot for him. He's got a little bit of speed. He obviously handles, any kind of surface. You don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. The question is, does he class up here? And it seems like he doesn't.
Can you make a case maybe for a board play at a price for the 3 Baracho, a horse that once upon a dream took advantage of a fast pace and earned a grade 1 placing in the Woody Stevens on dirt going 7. This horse has only raced twice on turf. I think he has excuses both times. Once a 2-turn race against a legitimate grade 3 type and Olympic runner, and then in the Gulfstream Park Turf Sprint against Leinster, one of the better turf horses in North America.
Yeah, true enough. I mean, I'm sure that I'm just being way too hard on this horse because I actually like him as a dirt horse. I don't like him all that much as a turf horse, but maybe the way to look at him is the way that you just laid it out, Dan. The first turf start going a mile against a good field, and not only that, somehow wound up on the lead or contesting for the lead on a really fast pace that day and got tired, and then he just had no chance in the turf sprint.
Paper Law, unfortunately, had an abbreviated campaign in 2020. He came back firing in only 3 races. Now, he's had 3 races this year. Maybe they're trying to reinvent him as a turf sprinter. Let's watch his last race at Penn National. Entered for $25,000 and turning all the way back from a mile and a 16th. Now, he got wired this day by Zyramid, but we see him swinging wide into the stretch, and he's going to start running at the very end of this race. Maybe that's simply a sign he wants a little bit more ground.
Yeah, maybe it is. I mean, he puts in a pretty nice run here, though. This is not a bad effort. And, something like this could get him a piece in this race, I would think. They've sprinted him, occasionally in the past, and he's pretty much run the same race going short as he does going long. So I think he can sprint.
Hard to believe that the 5 So Street's been winless since he won the Howard County sprinting on the turf back as a 2-year-old in 2019 because he's run several bang-up races, a couple against open companies in the Laurel Dash of last fall. Last time out, he ran at Colonial Downs against a pretty sharp horse in Grateful Bred, but he just didn't fire, and I'm kind of getting tired of his act a little bit, although I do respect Jamie Ness with these kind of horses.
Yeah, I do too. I just don't know that I see the race that makes him all that competitive in here. I mean, listen, he's kept some really good company, and he'll occasionally come up with a pretty good performance. I guess if he runs one of those here, he could get a piece of it.
Let's watch Call Will win for the 15th time in his career. He is a 10-year-old, and he wins an $8,000 starter allowance at Parx. He got a wise ride from Frankie Pennington, who got him close to a moderate pace. He's able to sprint on home. He really pours it on in the stretch. Now he's taking a giant step up in class. It's pretty amazing. This is going to be his first stake start in start number 56.
Yeah, I love this horse. I remember him back from his days in New York forever ago. He was a good horse back then. He's never been a stakes horse, but he's always been real nice. He obviously loves the Parx turf course where he's 8 for 12. I don't know that he's going to love lining up against the Critical Way.
It would be a wonderful story if somehow the 7 Fox Rocks could pull off an upset. He's a 10-year-old as well. This will be his 108th trip to the post. He's won 25 times. The Critical Way handled him pretty easily. 2 back, 4 back, 7 back, etc.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, they don't make horses like this anymore. So he is a really cool horse. It'd be a really good story. It's a very tough spot.
We saw the Connector run a game second behind the Critical Way in the Wolf Hill. I talked to Florent Giroux, his rider, after that race, and he simply said second best. The Critical Way was better. They stretched him out and found a great spot for him at odds-on last time out at Colonial. He won like an odds-on horse should. He's good sprinting, and they scratched out of a stake at Presque Isle Downs to run here. Pretty confident spot.
It is, and I'm sure that they prefer him sprinting, even though he did get the mile last time. We'll see if he can, just sort of make it a little closer this time. Dan, he's another horse who, the Critical Way has had his number over time, getting all the way back to the end of last year. This horse ran fine 2 starts back, but again, when you watch that race, it really wasn't that close.
Francatelli has Beyer speed figures that approach those of the Critical Way. Beyer speed figures in the mid-90s. He, again, did not have the best trip in the Get Serious 2 starts back. He was sitting in the pocket, kind of got checked a little bit going into the turn. Can't make a mistake against a horse like the Critical Way, going 5/8 on the grass. He blasted out to an early lead last time out of Colonial, and it took another good horse, Just Might's a good sprinter, who ran him down in the stretch.
Yeah, got beat by a good horse there. Got beat by a good horse off the layoff as well and completed pass. I mean, this is a good horse, Dan. I feel like they got to get real aggressive with him here, try to blast off to the front and make the Critical Way run him down.
King's House main track only. Where You Was completes the field. Lots of runner-up and third place finishes on his page. 6 seconds, 10 thirds, and 31 lifetime starts. Big step up in class after finishing behind Papal Law in the race we just saw in his video spotlight.
Yeah, didn't run that poorly last time, but it's not an effort that's really going to make him that competitive in here either.
Top pick for the Grade 3 Parx Dash. The Critical Way might simply be too tough. He's going to be forward from the opening bell. I think he'll be sitting off of Francatelli, and we'll see if he can put Francatelli away. I'm expecting Francatelli to put up a nice fight.
I am too. I think it's a pretty good matchup between the two. I wouldn't argue too hard, Dan, with anybody who told me they were going to try to beat this horse with Francatelli. I don't think that's impossible, but I still chalked it out.
1984 for Mike, 1948 for me. It's the Grade 3 Parx Dash. 2 graded stakes races at Parx on Tuesday. Good luck.